Ben, thank you for joining us. Ultimately, it's another frustrating evening here at the Broadfield Stadium. Can I get your reflection on the game first?
Yeah, I think unfortunately it looks probably a bit too much like Saturday again. Tried to probably be a little bit not direct, but a little bit more forceful in the final third in the first half. Didn't quite come to fruition. I think we changed back to the same system that the boys usually play in the second half and got a lot of control of the game and started to create some decent chances. Nothing clear cut, but there was a better feeling definitely. But and then they get one sort of on the break towards the end of the game. So another frustrating night, but the boys have to stick together and move on.
Yeah, I think the phrase huffed and puffed can be used tonight. I don't think you can fault anyone's sort of commitment out there, but it almost just felt like it wasn't to be at some stage. The ball just wasn't dropping in. Obviously, we had that chance to hit the post. The goalkeeper was forced into a couple of saves. Is there an element of not being ruthless enough, or do you think at the moment it's not just dropping for us?
Now, there's definitely like a mentality in the final third. I think that's like a bit of belief as well. But you're right. Now the boys have been phenomenal in terms of their effort. You can't fault that. There's no doubt. So they're giving everything. Some things aren't dropping. Sometimes maybe players aren't arriving in the right slots in the right moment. So it's probably a combination of all things. But it's stuff that can be worked on in the training ground for sure.
Do you think it's a case of when one goal goes in, the others will come? Is it literally just a case of that confidence where we just need that one to go in for us?
Yeah, it usually is that way. I hope it's not like it's not something that the boys are thinking about too much, because you don't want it to get that way. The goals are going to come, they're going to flow, and they have before, so it will come again. It's nothing to worry too much about, but just in this period, it's not happened.
Yeah, the lads are hungry, aren't they? You can see that. There's, as we've already touched on, there's no one out there who's not giving their absolute all. So I can imagine the dressing room's a sort of difficult environment at the moment, but also, as you said already, they need to stick together, don't they?
Yeah, that was my message afterwards. Is you can identify where their goals are coming from, and there's some accountability to take there, but ultimately the boys have to stay together, and they're all pulling in the same direction. And it's a long old season, so we're still early on, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, and I suppose there's also the element of you don't become a bad team overnight. This, perhaps isn't the side that we saw at the start of the season. It maybe is just, as you say, a confidence thing. So, there's plenty of positives to look back on and, take into the next games, aren't there?
Yeah, I think like we've spoken a lot about the performances being very important. Not always the result, not to measure it always off the result. And that's a fine line to tread sometimes, but I think the performances have remained pretty good. And then there's things that you have to tweak along the way, but ultimately it's about winning games. So just finding that balance.
Can it be demoralising for players? Because I suppose, as you said there, 2-0 probably isn't a fair reflection of the night. Obviously, we're throwing everything forward towards the end to try and get a goal, and we get caught. So is that an element of it where you sort of got to try and say to the lads, look, don't pay too much attention to the result. It is about the performance as well.
Yeah, I think so. It's not always the easiest sell, but it's definitely the environment that's been created at this football club, and the boys have bought into it 100%. So I think everybody feels a little more comfortable with going after good performances consistently, rather than rolling the dice every weekend. So it's what we've tried to do. Unfortunately, the last couple is not quite come off, but it makes it easy to identify the issues and what you need to fix on the training ground, I think. So that will be done, I'm sure.
Thank you, Ben.
You've had the 2 games in charge. You must be very proud of how the players have performed for you over these 2 games.
Yeah, immensely proud. They've been fantastic, and I've just said that to them now. I said thank you so much for your effort and commitment, because they've been brilliant. I've enjoyed it a lot with them. So yeah, no, it's been good. Yeah,
and obviously we've had the announcement that Rob Elliott's coming in as manager. Any indication of what your role is from here?
Not yet, none. I imagine there'll be some conversations had. But obviously brilliant for the club that they've got a manager in now. They've got a clear direction, which is great. So no, I'm sure there'll be some conversations, but that's where it's at.
Yeah, and with obviously the results haven't gone the way, the performances have been good, but do you think there's anything apart from sticking the ball in the back of the net, anything fundamentally that needs to change in the style of play?
Well, that would be for the new manager and what he looks to do. I believe he tries to dominate the ball as well. He's obviously put together a really, really good team up there at Gateshead, so I'm sure he'll have some new ideas that will be brilliant for the players to hear, some fresh thoughts and ideas. He'll have his own picture of what he saw tonight and what he's seen previously and what he wants to change. So, yeah, I'm sure he'll get to work straight away, and you'll probably see some differences.
Yeah, and the fans tonight, I thought second half in particular, they just kept singing. How pretty pleased with them are you as well?
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere second half, and I really thought they almost sucked the ball in the net at that end. We almost got there, we got close. So, and again, the second goal goes in and it flattens everyone out a little bit. But up until that point, really good, really grateful to the fans, everybody connected with the football club, because it's not been an easy time at all. So I think everybody's remained together, which is the most important thing, and now they've got some clear direction to almost not start again, but to get a new sense of energy.
Thanks, Ben. Cheers.